Welcome, everybody, back here at Segal Talks. My name is Frank Henschke, and I'm the director of the Segal Center here at the Graduate Center CUNY at the City University of New York in Manhattan. And it is another day and another week in Segal Talks. And we just had an update about situations in the Ukraine and yesterday about Palestine, where restrictions seem to have worked well, imposed or put in by the Israeli government, also in the Palestine territories, and slowly people are going out, but they face a bleak situation. There hasn't been real support for this theater before and after, but they have a fierce identity and a mission to bring change, social change, to a situation that is not working for so many, and it's not acceptable. Today we have guests from Brazil. We have Roberta Estrela D'Alva and Dione Carlos who are here with us. So thank you for taking the time. And Danilo will help us to translate in case they have open questions. So theaters artists, as always, are, as we say, on the right side of history and the right side of justice. They also experience life immediately, in a real sense. They anticipate often the future. And so it is of a significance and important to listen. And also for us in New York, but all around the world, we really need to know more about local theater practices. Theater in Brazil is such a great history, such a long history, such a complex history. The country is so big, so vast. And we are not always aware as much as we really should be. This virus has shown that we are connected intimately, in a way, deeply, that the world has become much closer and smaller in the sense of we can talk to you, we travel normally also, but also our lives have been confined in closer spaces, and we look out at a reality and we have inside uncertainties, and we process our information. And in moments of raptures like this, perhaps it's a time where we also have a little insight how we process information. We question the reality where we are in, and that perhaps is a reason why sometimes out of a crisis new realities emerge in a good way. And at least we hope to. We had Natalia Vorozhbit from the Ukraine, who said she's anticipating not good things coming out for her country, 6 years of war, and that the Corona crisis is actually a welcome pause. It's almost like a Christmas time. So it's just stunning around the world to hear what is going on. We heard from India, where 500,000 people tried to leave New Delhi on foot to march up to 1,000 kilometers home because they couldn't work for the families anymore. They had no place, no work, no income, and had their babies on the back. So it's a complex thing. Roma families being beaten up by the police without warnings and reasons because they fear that they are spreading the virus. Workers in Romania are stuck at borders, not coming back or going out without any protections to fulfill their work commission. So it's a complex time. And Milo Rao talked about his new vision for theater. Richard Schachner looked back as a history of theater and with that, and is working on a manifesto and things what we should change. We look at the nuclear reactor where the top has been taken off. We look inside and see a reality, a disastrous situation in the United States. It's shocking that this country, this rich country, this wonderful country, and this inspiring country doesn't seem to find a way to deal with problems. And Brazil, which is also in a way so close to the North America, the US, is also experiencing in a moment, if we understand right, of uncertainties, of complex problems and political guidance that perhaps is not always in the interest of everybody. So we wanted to hear from our friends and colleagues in Brazil. So here's the question: where are you all now? What time is it? And are you under confinement, or what's going on in São Paulo, where you're from?
Ele perguntou aonde você está a cidade? Que horas são aí? E se você está em quarentena agora, como é que está sendo?
Nós estamos em São Paulo, agora é 1h04, 1h05, e sim, temos o privilégio de estar em quarentena. Muitas pessoas não podem obedecer à quarentena, precisam comer. Mas sim.
Yeah, we are currently in São Paulo, as you said, and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon here. We have been able to maintain the quarantine, but unfortunately, it's a privilege in the current situation here.
For how long is the quarantine? I know the winter is approaching, or fall or winter. So how long has the quarantine been in place?
60 days. 60 dias, né?
Yeah.
Quanto tempo está a quarentena e qual a previsão, você acha?
Eu acho que a gente vai ter mais alguns meses pela frente. Vai ser instável. Por mais que haja pressão para não, é uma questão de sobrevivência.
Yeah, we believe that even though winter is nearing and obviously there are certain risks that may come by, you should maintain for quite a few more months.
Mm-hmm. So how are maybe, Roberta, you can also tell us, how are the restrictions? What can you go out? Do you have to fill out a form like in France? What are the conditions? In Italy, you can only go 100 meters around your house or to the next store where you can buy food or pharmacy. Everything else is forbidden. How is the situation in Brazil, and how had it been introduced to this population?
Bom, ele está perguntando como é que está a situação aqui no Brasil, né? Que tipo de dinâmica que a gente tem de fechamento. Well, we don't have like a lockdown properly. We don't still, because what we have here is a war between the government from the states and the government from the country, the president and the governors, because the governors say stay home, it's dangerous, we have more than 10,000 people dead. And our president, it's working against it. He's saying it's just a lightly flu. So he's making a on contrary service, and he's messing out. He changed the minister of health here, health, of common health, and it's a mess because this is really making people being confused, and so we have a situation, people from the states telling stay home, and our president going into television, going to lives in Instagram and say we can't stop, Brazil can't stop. So enterprises and fabrics are going to die, but this president, people are dying. That's it, more or less. Então, eu estou falando que a gente tem um conflito aqui, I'm just translating for Brazilian people, um conflito aqui do presidente e os governadores dos estados falando para a gente ficar em casa e o presidente falando para a gente sair. Então, a gente tem não tem um lockdown e tem um conflito de interesses, né? Enquanto o presidente fala, saiam, porque a economia não pode morrer, porque as empresas não podem morrer, e desprezando que pessoas estão quase, mais de 10 mil pessoas morreram. Resumindo, foi isso que eu falei.
It might be a bit too complicated if we translate everything back into Portuguese also, but it's good that we try to give some explanation. But so the president of Brazil, of course, and the world is wondering, and they don't understand why he is not taking this serious. So how is the situation for theater artists? Are theaters open? Are they closed? Are there rehearsals going on? What is happening?
Ele está se perguntando, o mundo inteiro está se perguntando porque o presidente não segue, ele quer saber como é que está a situação dos artistas de teatro aqui no Brasil, e se eles estão abertos, se estão funcionando ou não, e como está a situação dos artistas.
No momento, nós estamos parados. Eu li uma notícia que os artistas da Europa sofrem uma pressão para abrir os teatros, nós estamos sofrendo uma pressão para deixar de existir. Então, nesse momento, há uma dificuldade muito grande de voltar, ou mesmo de se organizar, devido à situação extrema que os artistas estão enfrentando aqui.
She saw news that in certain countries of Europe, there's been an urge by the government and by the people for theaters to reopen and to engage in open performances. In here, it's the extreme opposite, where there's a pressure not only for them to be closed down, but for them to cease to exist. So it's a deep crisis, and theater artists have very few resources to actually maintain their craft.
So for 60 days, also theaters have been closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, theater stores and just the basic services are open, like food service. And what happened, it was when Bolsonaro entered, he killed the culture ministry. So
it doesn't exist anymore.
Doesn't exist anymore. No. And the situation is getting better, worse and worse for the artists, because Corona came in a time that we were already in a tough situation, with theaters closing, with artists in a very bad situation of space and money and breathing. So it's a plan.
So when he came in, Bolsonaro, he closed down the Ministry of Culture, is no longer existing. This was on his political agenda to close down any support for the arts.
Yes.
Yeah, I was not fully aware of this. This is, of course, a shocking news. So that means there is no help, no funding in place to support Brazilian artists?
Então significa que não tem fundos para ajudar artistas brasileiros?
O que acontece hoje, há um fundo de emergência que foi liberado e muitos artistas não conseguem sacar o recurso. O que tem acontecido agora é uma organização social feita pelos próprios artistas, principalmente voltada para os artistas da periferia, para a gente ajudar, principalmente com alimentação, com cestas básicas. É nesse nível que a gente se encontra aqui no momento.
Yeah, the government released an emergency fund for all the population and for artists as well, but most of them have not been able to grab the money, to seize the money. And so what happened is that there's been an unity in the artist community and theater particularly, to help get food for these people. So it's been mostly the artists trying to help out the artists so that they can survive.
So artists basically would be starving right now. There's no help. Also in New York City, as around the world, they will, for the next 8-9 months, there are no jobs. The musicians, all the gigs have been canceled. There are no, of course, no payments from theaters. There's even a case of a big regional theater that demanded a playwright to pay back the commissioning fee, even though the playwright has already started writing. So what do you do then in Brazil? You don't have a theater, they're all closed, there's no support, there's no Ministry of Culture. What is the future?
We are fucked up. Well, just I'm kidding, but it's not for kidding. The situation is we are having conversations and trying to see what we're going to do, and debating and talking to each other, but nobody knows the answer. Trying to do things together, because it's a time that alone, like trying to save yourself, we are going nowhere. Like collective solutions, collective thoughts, trying to write stuff, and first of all, the basic necessities, like support these projects. They give food, because without food, what is theater if the person is starving? But we don't see a horizon, because theater is the presence art. You can sing, you can project a movie, stream a movie, but theater, you need the public. And the discussion is there theater without public and actors together in a room? Is this theater still, if you don't have it, the presence that is essential question in theater? And we don't know, because I don't know if in September we'll be able to be together in a room, even in December, because the things will open, but will theaters will be opened? to us be together. And I don't know, I heard that in Italy they are going to put like a person and 3 seats and another person and 3 seats, but I don't know.
Yeah, the next row empty and then again one, yeah, and people will have to wear masks. How will that look like? This is a big question. I think from our friends in TR Warsaw in Poland, in Warsaw, they have been put on the same list as massage salons. Only when massage salons can open, also the theaters will open, which they felt as a clear insult against, of course, the theater community, and which they do not really want at the moment also to hear from. How is the situation? How was it before, like doing theater in Sao Paulo before coronavirus? Let's say, tell us a little bit. Was it already complicated, or were there support, or how do you experience this? I know you also work in television and in film also, both of you, but how is this theater situation at the moment in Sao Paulo?
Como estava a situação antes do corona chegar do teatro em si?
Teatro aqui sempre foi muito independente. A gente sempre contou com a gente. Tem um lema no Brasil que diz nós por nós. Eu acho que o teatro é isso no Brasil. Mas, claro, sei que Roberta e eu também, a gente tinha uma agenda de trabalho, né? A gente sempre trabalhou bastante. E, de repente, isso foi tirado, né? São Paulo é uma cidade muito privilegiada nesse sentido, porque tem muitos teatros. Nós temos aqui uma instituição que apoia muito o teatro, né? Temos algumas instituições voltadas para a cultura que apoiam o teatro, que apoiam os artistas de teatro. Então, nós saímos de uma situação muito privilegiada, né? Com um trabalho, com uma agenda cheia, para nada, praticamente.
The theater in São Paulo has always been very independent in a way, so they have institutions that contribute to theater in here. There are a lot more theaters than in most places in Brazil. But then after the government came in, they sort of lost all their jobs, and they had full agendas and they could actually perform the work. But even before the virus, it was all shut down. And this is in a logic where it's a privilege to be in São Paulo and the opportunities are already not that extensive in the country.
So the government shut down theaters in Sao Paulo, and when Bolzano came in, they closed theaters?
Not the government, the artists, I think. The artists by themselves closed because we didn't get the Bolsonaro hint of it's just a flu.
Because the Ministry of Culture closed and there was no more support for running the theaters, or?
Yeah, I have a particular case that we had the headquarters of my company. I'm part of a company called Núcleo Bartolomeu de Depoimentos. It's a hip hop theater company that mixes elements from the hip hop culture with the epic theater from Bertolt Brecht. And we had this headquarter, our place, and it was just, we were kicked off the place, and they como fala Danilo, demolido. They demolished the place to put some buildings. We have a gentrification process in Pompeia, the neighborhood that the theater was in. And we were kicked out, literally kicked out, and they just demolished, put the place down in a city that has like one theater for 1,040 inhabitants. So it's very few theaters for the quantity of people. Even being privileged, it's a very few, small quantity of theater we have here. So, yeah, so I think it is.
I think I was in Pompeii Theater, which was part of ASCII, and that theater has been closed down. And
yeah, and we were kicked off. We have this. What happened in the neighborhood? The gentrification. They bought very cheap, and they put like a Whole Foods supermarket, like it happens in Harlem or Williamsburg. You know, the gentrification problem that it's all over. It's going all over, and so culture buildings are more important than culture for this government and all this
Mm-hmm.
people.
So, yeah. So, what were the ideas of the theater scene in Sao Paulo, even before the corona? Was it the idea to find new spaces, or you felt it was kind of a resignation? People gave up to make a contribution to the cultural life of the city, that theater is just no longer possible?
Quais eram os planos para os artistas? Achando uma questão de encontrar novos espaços, ou as pessoas simplesmente resignaram no teatro como se não consideravam mais o teatro como uma arte possível de ser feita em São Paulo?
Não, pelo contrário. Nós tivemos aqui, inclusive por conta de algumas iniciativas dos próprios grupos de teatro, que conseguiram viabilizar fomentos que ajudaram os grupos a se manterem, para não acontecer o que aconteceu com o grupo Núcleo Bartolomeu de Depoimentos e com tantos outros que fecharam as portas. Havia um cenário múltiplo, né, de um teatro com pesquisas variadas. Então, o teatro existia e era muito vivo e diverso na cidade.
The theater companies, they were creating funds to make sure that others could survive. So there was going on a diversification in terms of research and publics they were approaching, and an extensive research in terms of what could touch more people. So they were still fighting, and they were still trying to find solutions to make sure that they would remain solid and that they could maintain their work.
Even Bartolomeu, my company that was kicked off of this space, we continued. We were like in rented space, place from so friends brought us together under the wing for us to continue. And last year we released Terror and Misery in the Third Millennium, Improvising Utopias. That is a version of Terror and Misery in the Third Reich from Bertolt Brecht. Mm-hmm. That is incredibly fresh for the moment, because it fits like a glove, because it's the situation, the rising of fascism is what we are living literally here in Brazil with Bolsonaro.
So you both would say, or that you are witnessing a rise of fascism that openly is hostile to culture.
Então, as duas diriam que se estão em frente a uma ascensão do fascismo que é abertamente hostil à cultura?
Eu diria que ele teme a cultura tanto quanto Hitler temia os surrealistas. É o que eu digo.
Yeah, it's the same kind of fear and dread and persecution that perhaps Hitler had with the surrealist class of art.
What are the persecutions at the moment? What are theater artists have to fear?
Quais são as perseguições no momento? O que os artistas de teatro têm que temer?
Don't have food to eat. Right now, everybody's stopped. But in the recent past, some strange things started to happen, like photographs. We had like interrupted plays because the artist was naked. Censorship. We have a very close past of a dictatorship. Very violent, that tortured and killed a lot. It's very close. So these guys are still around trying to stop and shut the mouth of those who shout for liberty. So these guys we have military, our vice president is a captain from is a military guy. He's a military guy. So they are around. A lot of censorship, little by little, started to happen since Bolsonaro came into power.
Tem uma coisa que eu queria falar também, que é o fato de que houve a criação de uma narrativa de demonização dos artistas. Isso foi criado, foi uma história criada e que muita gente acredita.
there was a narrative that was brought forward of how trying to demonize theater artists in general, and unfortunately, that is a narrative that has spread throughout the nation, and it's quite well installed.
So theater artists are demonized. Tell us about the interruptions of shows. What happened?
As interrupções dos shows, fala mais sobre.
Yeah, there's some examples. For example, Jesus. There's a version of John Clifford's Jesus. I don't know the name in English. Jesus, the Queen of Heaven. Maybe. I don't know the name in English, the show. In Brazil, in Portuguese, is Jesus, Rainha do Céu. So Renata, the actress who was playing it, holding this, she was interrupted, or people came to protest, you're not going to do this here. And some people like doing ameaças, como é que é, Danilo? People trying to intimidate them by the by internet. Or we have something called Bolsonarismo here, who was the huge fans of Bolsonaro, and they are fanatics, just as Hitlerism was in German. Like they are really, but right now we have the net and Facebook and all this stuff. So the fake news, we had since politics till artists being victims of this fake news and saying that absurds. So it's a terror made by on the net, but also with threads, real threads, body by body in front of theaters, in the gate of in the enter of the place that the play would be shown.
O Brasil acaba sendo uma espécie de lugar, me parece às vezes que a gente é cobaia de um projeto de necropolítica instaurado. Isso já há muito tempo. Acho que o Brasil é a vanguarda da necropolítica, de alguma forma. E a gente está sentindo os efeitos, está sofrendo as ações disso.
She believes that Brazil has been sort of an experiment for a type of necropolitics that happens for decades now. And the main consequence is that we're seeing this. There's been a project that has been put in place as to deem those who are more or less worthy of being, they are labeling them the good citizens. So there's been this project going on. I think this is it took its place right now after the Bolsonaro government, and it's settled.
Where do you think theater and performance has its place now for you? Where do you think it can make a difference? Can it at all?
Qual você acha que é o lugar das peças de teatro e do teatro em geral, e você acha que ele pode fazer uma diferença agora?
Eu sou professora de dramaturgia e continuo dando aulas, dou aulas online. E eu percebo que ler peças e pensar o teatro, e relembrar, evocar o teatro, é uma forma de se manter vivo nesse momento.
She's also a playwriting teacher, and what she has noticed during her online classes is that to read theater and to remember theater and to relive theater is very helpful to remain alive and remain more or less sane in this current crisis.
Nunca deixou de haver teatro. Sorry, Roberta. Nunca deixou de haver teatro. Não importa a pandemia, o teatro sempre aconteceu, de um jeito ou de outro, dentro dos espaços ou fora dos espaços.
Yeah, no matter the crisis that happened throughout history, there has always been theater, and it has always happened, no matter if it was within determined spaces or not. It has always existed and happened.
me with Núcleo Bartolomeu, the company, we are still discussing and talking. We have one day in the week, to sacred day, to discuss and say the things we are thinking, we are reading, and also with a company that I'm directing. It's called Bond. It's a Black theater company that we are also talking, watching movies, reading the play we're going to do, like feeding the fire, you know, never letting it die.
Mm-hmm. I think even under the dictatorship, theater was putting up a form of resistance, free groups, outside performances, festivals, and it was part of a social change that anticipated the end of that. But so in your group, in your reading group where you are preparing, what do you talk about when you say we sit together and we talk, Roberta? What do you talk about?
Well, we first of all, we talk how are you doing, people, because this is important. Also talk how are you feeling, moving in the middle of this, because otherwise we're going just producing and let's do something, and I think we have to be very human. But we are looking back. It's strange. We are looking to because it's 20 years of my company this year. It was supposed to be the year that we are going to be like celebrating 20 years of company. And we are, wow, this is happening in our 20 years anniversary. And so I think we are looking back and trying to take a look to our story, trajectory, and to comprehend in the moment we are, to trying to imagine a future, but we don't know what it is, but trying to, right, we are taking this look back to see more or less where are we, and to see more or less where are we going. But nobody knows, like, comes to this reunion saying, well, people, so we are in this situation, nobody knows. If somebody says that knows, these people, maybe it's crazy. But we talk about what we'll be doing in these 20 years, and what we're gonna do if we can be in front of an audience till December, because we are asking this. Theater happens. This theater, we are going to make like pieces, recording and showing what we're gonna do, and other lots of subjects also, like slavery, that it's a ghost, as dictatorship that is a ghost. It's our two problems in Brazil that lead us till here, we think. And so we are racial subjects, we are always discussing this still all the time, for example.
Why did you start your company 20 years ago? Take us back to that moment. When did you start it, and what were your dreams?
So Claudia Shapira, who is our director and playwright, she was researching about the city issues, and he saw Eugenio Lima, who is our musical and director also, dancing, because he has a street dance company, and she wanted this pose. She said, this is what I'm missing in my theater. So they were together. So the theater met hip hop. And so I came, Lua came, and other people. And well, our wishing was to discuss the problems, the situation of living in a city like São Paulo, like being Black in São Paulo, being women in São Paulo, deal with the beauty and the tragedy that a big city like São Paulo brings. So we operate in the city. São Paulo is our inspiration, with the problematics and the beauties. And I don't know. We didn't know that we were a company. We just started with common willings, And then when we saw we were 20 years making it together and creating a language, and then this became our most beautiful dream. We create hip hop theater, actor MC, and all the stuff we created together. Language is the most precious thing that we have to spread.
And Dione, how did you get into theater, and why did you feel it could make a contribution to also to the city of São Paulo?
Como você começou no teatro? Por que você entrou no teatro? Por que você achou que poderia ser uma contribuição para São Paulo?
Eu comecei no teatro como atriz, trabalhei muito tempo com um grande ator aqui de São Paulo, chamado Renato Borghi, que me ensinou sobre atuação. Ele é uma das pessoas que participa da fundação do Grupo Oficina, que é bem conhecido aqui. E depois percebi que eu não me via nas dramaturgias que eu lia, não via pessoas como eu na dramaturgia que eu lia. E daí eu decidi escrever.
One second, let's translate.
She started off as an actress, and she started off working with a very famous Brazilian actor called Renato Borghi, who is the founder of a very big project here called Oficina. And as she began acting more, she realized that she wasn't represented by the characters she saw in those plays. And so she was seeking out for a different sort of narrative.
Também porque eu acho que a dramaturgia é um lugar de criação de imaginário. E para a gente ter uma dramaturgia múltipla, a gente precisa ter múltiplas vozes.
And also because she believes playwriting is the biggest tool to create different narratives and to create a certain general narrative. So in order for us to have those different narratives that are more diverse, you need different voices. And she wanted to be one of those voices.
It's basically the same reason and the same contribution. For me, the same answer.
If you think of the São Paulo, the city you love and do your theater for, and what do you imagine that, let's say Corona is over, what will you be doing? Do you feel this moment is changing how you think about theater? Will you do what you did before, but in a stronger way or in a different way? What will be the consequences of this time for you, of being at home for 60 days?
Quando acabar o corona, como que você acha que vai ser a sua escrita, o seu teatro? E como você acha que vai te afetar ficar nessa quarentena, quando tudo acabar? O que vai mudar em você?
Eu acho que eu tenho pensado mais em nós do que em eu, no eu. Acho que vai ser um teatro de muitos nós, também entendendo um pouco melhor as relações de poder, inclusive dentro do próprio teatro, a que o teatro está submetido, inclusive.
She believes that theater will become much more of a collective experience for her instead of a more individual one, in a way that we're now able to understand more or less the power relationships that have been going on in Brazil and inside Brazilian theater itself.
Eu acho que nós... sorry, Roberta, só uma coisa. Eu acho que diante das dificuldades que a gente está enfrentando agora, isso vai nos forçar a pensar e talvez tomar algumas atitudes que a gente estava adiando, até por uma questão de conforto, né, de estar num certo privilégio. Agora a gente vai ser obrigada a pensar alternativas para o que a gente estava acostumado. Eu acho que acaba um mundo e começa um novo mundo.
She believes that due to this crisis, artists will have to take another look at the circumstances and to take certain attitudes and certain stands that they had not been taken, maybe because they were in a place of privilege in São Paulo, and that now represents, in a way, the end of a certain reality, of a certain word, and the start of a new one. And so those are the changes he believes will happen mostly here in São Paulo theater.
Só mais uma coisa, tem uma frase da dramaturga Grace Passot, que é uma dramaturga brasileira. Num texto ela diz que venham todos os fins porque eu sei recomeçar. Eu acho que isso nós brasileiros, a gente sabe fazer muito bem.
There's a common saying by a Brazilian playwright called Grace Passot that says that may all ends come because I know how to start over. And it's, in her opinion, a very important part of the Brazilian spirit, and Brazilians can do that very well. And that must be translated into theater to move forward and to evolve.
Yeah. I agree with all that Dione said. And we hope that things are different when we were out of this and we were together out of the circle we always had been, and thinking more collective, more with the peripheries of the city, exchanging more out of our circles. And the urgencies, I think they will change. What is urgent? Because the relationship with death change it. You can be dead tomorrow. You can with the body. How I imagine how it's going to be. The physical contact. What would it? The urgencies. I think we are having a lot of questions right now, and we're going to have messy answers and some ways to go, some new ways, some old trying to come, and our perception would be more refined, I think.
Eu queria falar só da Brasilândia, que é um lugar, um bairro, uma comunidade de São Paulo que está totalmente desassistida e é a mais atingida pelo vírus. Eu dou aula na Brasilândia, nós fazemos parte de um projeto lá. E é importante dizer, eu acho que essa resposta virá desses lugares, dos lugares que estão conseguindo se articular, para variar, como sempre, no Brasil, para sobreviver. Eu acho que vem da periferia para o centro, essa resposta, a solução, ou um caminho.
Chiquitiche is in a very poor neighborhood at the periphery of the city that is named Brasilândia, and it's where the death percentage has been the most fatal in the city. And she believes that solution for the narrative, for the many problems that theater has been facing, will come in a process of going from those regions in towards the center, not the opposite.
A resposta também vem do canto das indígenas para mim. É uma outra forma de encarar o que a gente está vivendo. Eu acho que nesses lugares a gente vai encontrar um caminho para lidar com o que a gente está lidando.
She believes that the answers will also come from indigenous writers and the communities in general. Those are the places that perhaps have been the most neglected and where the voices are the hardest to hear. But maybe the solutions and the difference in which they deal with these problems and the current crisis will be the main way to find an answer.
So numbers, I think just yesterday, numbers were staggering. I almost hear from very little finally to 400 or 500 dead people in a day. Most probably the numbers are much, much higher. How is this situation, the favelas or in the periphery, of the cities where people live so close together and share space, also have a sense of a community and staying together? Do you all feel there is a catastrophe is coming, or do you feel you already have the crisis behind you?
Well, we have 5 times more Black people killed by coronavirus in Brazil than white people. So this says a lot of our slavery.
So 500% higher. Mm-hmm.
5 times.
Yeah.
So this says about our country, about yesterday was the abolition day, that we say that this a false abolition, because who died? Like in the US, are Black people still, who are in the favelas are Black people still, so is a situation that is growing, as Dione mentioned, is a necropolitics acting, and a necroliberalism. Necropolitics is a term by Professor Schiller Mend, that is a mentor for many people when are discussing this colonialism. So the word of order right now is decolonization of the relationships. And you have this. Yesterday, I saw in Erica's Badu Instagram, they killed 2 boys. They're killing police in America and in Brazil. We have 2 idiots. Trump is an idiot, like Bolsonaro, and racist, and a slave master as him. And so the periphery are suffering with Corona as it is suffering with police, militarization, or any disease, dengue, or anything, because they are in a situation since the abolition of slavery that is under any help, under any attention by the government or stuff like that.
Antes do vírus, a gente já tinha um vírus que mata muita gente o tempo inteiro, principalmente pessoas pobres, pessoas negras nesse país, mulheres. Então, eu espero uma catástrofe, sim. Acho que vem uma catástrofe.
Before Corona itself, there was already sort of a virus installed in Brazil, in which that killed many poor people, many Black people, many women, and she believes that a catastrophe is on its way, for sure.
A gente está com 13.149 mortos. Nós temos comunidades indígenas onde o vírus já chegou. Então, sim, a gente vai ter uma catástrofe. Já estamos vivendo essa catástrofe. São 13.149 vidas.
The latest infected the latest death numbers were 13,149 people. And the main thing is that the virus has already reached a lot of indigenous communities, and obviously the peripheral communities in the big cities and the small cities. So it's already a catastrophe on its own, and it will only get worse. That's for sure.
I read something yesterday that was saying, Emmanuel explaining to people, don't say 13,000 of COVID cases, of COVID person, because they are person, not cases, numbers. Social security number, or CPF, as we say here. They're people, a lot, human beings, and this is very important in the language we use.
Yeah, we heard of reports that indigenous populations are not warned, that even festivities where they come together were not interrupted or forbidden because they didn't know so much about it, and that there is perhaps the idea that it's a welcome interruption, that, the deforestation, the using of the forest, and the deployment of indigenous people on their own lands, will advance much faster with the virus. Do you think this is an open political agenda behind it against also the indigenous people?
Você acha que essa liberação do corona, o fato de não terem avisado as comunidades ou interrompendo festividades, faz parte de um projeto político em relação à deflorestação e à destruição dessa cultura em geral?
Sim, mas isso os próprios indígenas já sabem, nós também sabemos, né? Eu acho que ninguém mais tem a ilusão de depender desse governo para nada, ou dos outros governos também. Eu acho que tem uma frase da Sueli Carneiro, que é uma pensadora aqui brasileira, ela diz, direita ou esquerda, eu continuo sendo negra, né? Então, embora a esquerda tenha olhado, né, para as questões indígenas e dos negros, mas eu acho que isso é um plano, um projeto.
Yeah, she believes that it's a project that has been going on for a long time now, even before the virus. And the indigenous communities are aware that they cannot depend on the government to assist them. They know that the government is against them. So it's for sure a political project, but it's been going on for years. And obviously, you can argue that left or right candidates have been more or less more supportive, but at the end of the day, they know that they cannot count on the government to be to help them.
Mm-hmm. So do you think, Dione, you said that you think this will be a rapture, it will be in Brazilian history, will it be Corona time? You said things will be different. Do you feel people will reconsider political choices they made and it will turn to a better society, new forms, better forms will be found? Or do you think it will get worse after the Corona? For both of you, the question, of course.
Você acha que esse momento do corona vai ser uma ruptura e as pessoas vão repensar as escolhas políticas, vão haver mudanças grandes, ou na verdade vai tudo piorar em relação a isso?
Eu acho que os dois. Acho que vai piorar. Eu acho que as pessoas fanatizadas estão mais fanatizadas, mas as pessoas que se organizam socialmente há muito tempo, né, pensando nesse nós por nós, elas mais do que nunca estão pensando caminhos, rotas de fuga e entrando em contato com outras possibilidades de mundo, outras ideias de mundo.
She believes that it will at the same time get worse and get better. She believes that those who have fallen prey of the political fanatism for the president, they will only get worse, and they have been getting worse progressively. And the corona situation won't aggravate that issue. But on the other hand, people who have been engaging in thinking in collective solutions and in social organizations will find new possibilities and work even harder to find new ways of standing and helping the country.
Yes. In the other end, you have the male, white, rich people in Brazil that have this heritage straight from the slave masters. They are slave masters, modern slave masters, that don't want to let go their privileges, and they are most like embracing these privileges and don't wanna let it go. But is it that if peace is not for everybody, it will be to no one. It will be to no one. It's an illusion to think if you are closed in your rich house, you're going to live with fear. The price that we're going to pay because of all this falling down of the cultural institutions, falling down of educational institutions in Brazil would be very, very expensive. The social price. We are seeing. Yesterday I went out to buy some food. The only thing that we are doing outside, and you see the massive quantity of people living in the streets, the increasing of the number of these people, of miserables, of people, and it's going to be in 3 years. So a lot of forces.
The homeless population is growing. More and more people are living on the streets.
Yeah, Lord. Since Bolsonaro came in, since Doria came in came to be the mayor, surely.
Entering families, várias famílias.
Many families are forced to live on the street, which of course, in a time of Corona, is a devastating situation for them, for the families, but also for everybody. So all the social and political problems are so open. when it comes to theater and performance, and of course there's the famous Augusto Boal, who came out of Brazil, actually started out in politics and gave up and felt only theater and performance can make a change, and he created specific methods. But what did you feel, or what do you think will work, or how do you reach your audience in Sao Paulo? Now you are without a Ministry of Culture, without support. Even theaters are closed down. What do you feel from your history, from your experience, but also what do you think? What do you think could be forms of theater performance to make it relevant, that people will listen, that it will help them to come to terms with a new reality? Is there something where you feel this is the thing we all should be doing?
Você acha que tem algum jeito, alguma solução para fazer com que o teatro volte a se conectar, as profissões de teatro voltem a se conectar com as pessoas e se ajustar a essa nova realidade, apesar de todas as circunstâncias?
Eu acho que nesse momento, para mim, pelo menos, é impossível pensar como realizar isso. Eu me sinto numa guerra, diante de uma guerra, e de algum modo lutando para que o teatro não seja varrido, né? Para que o teatro não desapareça. E tenho feito isso a partir dos trabalhos que seguem, né, para os encontros com grupos e com os alunos. Mas acho que a gente, no momento aqui no Brasil, a gente está tentando sobreviver, né? Não morrer antes da morte chegar. É isso que a gente está tentando fazer agora. Então, fica difícil imaginar, né, fazer qualquer tipo de... tem um texto do Ailton Krenak que diz, o amanhã, quer dizer... um livro dele que fala, o amanhã não está à venda, que ele fala disso, é importante viver cada dia. Não consigo ter essa projeção a longo prazo do que fazer.
She believes that in the current moment is not possible to even project or try to imagine what can be done in the future, because it's a matter of survival. Artists and theater itself has been just trying to not be swept away and not to disappear, and she has been doing that by encountering with many companies and engaging with her students and keeping on writing. But right now, the circumstances are that they're just trying not to disappear. They try not to die before death itself. And for them to try to create a future or to imagine a future, well, it all comes after being able to just survive.
Yeah, I agree, and bring people who are not actors or dramaturgs or directors, because we have a legion of people who are light designers who work with things that they can make a video and say something like an actor or an actress like me can do. There are people that are sewing the costumes, and a legion of people that are not working anyway. And these people are part of the imagination also, and how can we bring these people together? So it was what Dione was saying, food first. It's an emergency time. We are in the emergency. Eat and live and have the basic. And then we are going to, because dead, you can do shit, even theater.
So it's really existential. It's about starving to death as a fear, like so people in favelas, but also the artists. The country of Brazil is not taking care of its artists. It's neglecting them, actually openly hostile. This is shocking reports from a great country, the country that has brought so much to the world of joy and engagement and artistic quality, whether it's in painting and writing or Nelson Rodriguez, and also in games where are played, or music that comes from it. It's shocking account. How is it for you the day? Do you both have any time? Do you even write? Do you read something? Do you engage with art in your days, in your confinement?
Como é que está sendo a rotina para você? Você tem tempo para escrever, para ler? Você se envolve com os grupos para comunicar? Como é que está sendo a sua quarentena?
Fora a pesquisa de trabalho para a elaboração de textos, né? Tem um grupo que eu estou trabalhando agora, que é a Companhia dos Inventivos. A gente está pesquisando sobre Maria Auxiliadora, que foi uma artista plástica incrível. Eu tenho me dedicado muito a ler um livro chamado O Oráculo da Noite, do Siddhartha Ribeiro, que fala dos sonhos. Acho que dá para ir traduzindo, né? Não ficar muito longo.
Besides research and obviously trying to learn new narratives, she has been doing close by research of a book written by an artist called Siddhartha Ribeiro, who's actually a neuroscientist, and it's called O Oráculo da Noite.
E tenho lido também as obras do Ailton Krenak, principalmente Ideias para Adiar o Fim do Mundo. Então, tenho me dedicado a ler, tenho escrito menos, mas lido bastante e continuo dando as aulas, né? Dando minhas aulas de dramaturgia.
She has also been reading a book by a Brazilian author called Ailton Krenak, which translates to Ways to Postpone the End of the World. So she has been writing less, but she's been trying to read more and research more and find new sources.
And Roberta, how is it for you?
Yeah, I'm researching with these companies I'm involved in and reading the readings of these works, and also reading a lot of pieces of stuff, like starting lots of book, and seems that no book, no one, nothing gives the answer. So I work with sample a lot. So I'm sampling and trying to write and recovering old projects and seeing to past tests. And I work with the slam community also here, the poetry slam. So the poets, we are trying to organize it because we have 220 communities here in 20 states in Brazil. And so we are dealing with these communities and also helping and thinking together what can we do, because they are all young people. They had these agoras open to tell their stories, their ideas, and all of a sudden, all is closed. And all these feelings, all this tests, all these things that these agoras were healing. Just this is a youth that don't have space to say it. So we are working projects to help them also.
We're coming close to an end. So you both work with students, Dione, but also Roberta. What do you tell young artists? What do you tell students? How to deal with this moment?
O que você diz para os seus estudantes e para artistas jovens em relação a esse momento?
Fiquem vivos e observem, escutem esse silêncio, o silêncio desse momento. Mas, sobretudo, fiquem vivos e vivas.
To her students, she says, stay alive, survive, and make sure you pay close attention and listen well to the silence that has been echoing all around the city. But above all, to stay alive and survive.
So to listen to the silence,
I would say
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Roberta.
For me, I would say what I'm saying to myself is something like a mantra: be present in the present. Be present in the present. Be the quality of presence in each stuff you are doing. Just what we have is the present. The only thing that we have is the present. So be present in quality. It doesn't matter if you're gonna be like 10 minutes doing something. Be there this 10 minutes. Talking to someone or taking a shower, reading or helping, donating. Be there like with your body, your soul, with your complete, because the present is all we have.
Well, really, thank you both. And this is a good reminder to listen to the silence, to be present in the present, and also to participate in the communities and prepare for what is coming. It's a shocking account from Brazil, and perhaps it's not really clear also to the outside world how desperate the situation is, that artists are really afraid of starving, that they don't have any support, and there's for months, maybe for a year, nothing on the horizon. So it is shameful. The state of theater always is, and the arts, a little business card of any society, of a city. If it's alive, if it's vibrant, if it's open, and once the arts are in good shape, you can see that things are working, that governments are right, and if not, you see disastrous moments like you are experiencing there. We do hope, as Dione said, that the forces and energy of Brazil to make new starts and to redo what's wrong and put it into right will be there, and that social justice and progress will take its way. And it's really heartbreaking to hear your accounts, but your work is important there. And I know, coming also out of the slam poetry and rap movement and all of it, you all do important work, and you with your students. So we watch, of course, what is happening in Brazil. We have had many evenings about Brazilian theater, contemporary theater at the Segal Center. You both haven't been there, but Isabella Pinheiro from the great Evoe Ensemble in New York is a group of Brazilian artists who also already felt in Brazil it's so hard to do work. Maybe it's better to do it outside, which is a very sad and regretful thoughts of young artists to be immigrants of their countries. But they said, you are the ones to talk to, and you would be the ones who really can give us an account of what is of the significance to know about it from Brazil and Sao Paulo. So thank you for taking the time. And maybe we check in and later on how it all will be going. But I wish you all good energy, and we send our very best and hope that there ways will be found, to support artists. This is the moment now to really support artists, perhaps less producing and doing, but really supporting you. And I hope your community will find ways to also support you. We are coming close to the end of week 7. It's incredible for such a long time. We are doing this now. We are the only theater institution we know of in the Americas, perhaps also in Europe, that every day is producing a new content to talk about Corona, about art, about meaning. We do it every day. And I think it's rewarding for all of us to hear from around the world, and it helps us to get through this, but also to perhaps rethink and update our own hard drives of what we think. Tomorrow we will hear from Cameroon. Edouard Elvis Vuma will be here with Armin Yo, and they will talk about Cameroon. Maybe also you guys listen in and hear what is going on in that place, that in a way also is close, to Brazil. And I want to thank our listeners for taking the time to listen to artists from around the world. It's important and meaningful for them to know that people are listening, that people care, and that in a way we are all in this together. So thank you for listening. It means a lot to us, and know how much is out there and how much more and more gets out there. So it's important for us. And thanks to HowlRound for hosting us, Thea and Travis and Talia. And to our Segal team. So I hope to all see you again, tomorrow and next week. Stay all safe and stay tuned, and good luck. And we all hope you'll be safe and healthy. Bye-bye.